What is up, guys? Welcome back to Flow State. It is me, Luke, joined as always by Mr. Adam Smith, and we are here with episode 18 today. And you might have noticed I'm a little bit more rugged up than normal. And look, let's not faff around too long in saying that the weather here has definitely turned, and I am feeling it. But it's one of those days where I feel like I'm actually going to get really warm. I don't know about you, Adam, but I always feel like I get quite, I don't know if flustered is the right word, but I get quite heated recording podcasts, and I'm sure this will be coming up. But just to explain why I look like a Sherpa in my jumper today. But how's things your end, mate? How are we doing today?
Yep, good, man. Things are good. Weather-wise, it's been a mixed bag in Ireland. It's been warm, it's been nice, and then it's been turning to torrential downpours and rain, and pretty cold as well. So it's been a complete mixed bag. I got absolutely drenched, soaked to the skin on 2 or 3 runs this week already, and I'm sick of it already because it was like Monday was like 75 minutes of getting drenched. Like, I mean, saturated, where you have to come home and strip at the front door, and then Tuesday was exactly the same. So yeah, I'm sick of it. I'm ready for some sunshine again. Anyone that complains about the sunshine needs a good looking at, because the weather that we had there for 3 or 4 weeks in Ireland, maybe even more actually, sorry, maybe 5 or 6, was just unreal. And there was people complaining, especially runners, it's too warm, this and that. It was like anywhere from 16 to 20 degrees. No, it's not too warm. Like, it's not 30 degrees, it's not 35 degrees. Just get used to it and get on with it. So yeah, bit more washing than usual, bit more drying than usual with the rain jackets and everything else coming back out. But it's all good. It's all good. Yeah.
What I will say is we always seem to do really well in I think the last probably couple of months of podcasts, it's always like gleaming sunshine coming through your lovely mirror. It's fantastic. I mean, it's obviously pretty dark where I am, so we can't compare, but I feel like you've done well every Friday now for the past couple of months, really.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, we have. I remember when we started, when we were recording, it was pitch black from start to finish outside in the dead of winter. But yeah, it's been the opposite. We haven't even, I can't even remember recording a spring/summer podcast and it being raining outside. So we've been pretty lucky on Fridays, and sure, if Fridays are nice, that's all you can hope for, isn't it?
So tell me this, if let's say you don't have a run scheduled and you end up, you wake up and you can see the sun, you know, those days where the sun's coming through the curtains, right? And it just feels like a good day. Will you go out on a run regardless, or would you stick to the plan and have your rest day?
Just go out for a walk. Yeah, just go out for a walk.
Walking instead. LT1, not LT1, sorry, Zone 1 work.
Sub LT1. Yeah, just go out for a walk, mate. I just love being outside, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, even if I'm just sitting out the back having a coffee for half an hour, that does it for me. You know, it used to be like I had to get the run because I felt like a dog that hadn't been walked if I hadn't got my run in. But no, I'm way beyond that now, and maybe it's my age, mate, but older and wiser.
That's it. The Flow State boys.
Maybe I'm older, but I'm no wiser. If anything, I'm less wise. But no, we live, like, where we live here in the town is, I think I said to you before, it backs on that park. So I would sometimes do grass laps around the park, like last night, for example. But I would just open the little back gate and just go around that park on the grass for half an hour, and you always get chatting to some random old bloke walking his dog, and that's always a nice way to put the time in. So no, mate, if the sun's splitting the stones, I just think, yep, better excuse to get out for a nice walk and maybe grab a cup of coffee somewhere, and that does it for me. So I think I am actually going to run today. I think I'm going to do an easy jog after we finish recording. Body feels pretty good. I haven't kind of come to this when I talk about the training, but yeah, things just feel like they're in a good spot. Energy's good, so I'll get out for an easy jog, and hopefully it doesn't start pissing rain, because that's the way it's been. Just to come back to the weather again, it's been like that. You can see out my window, and then the next minute it's been torrential rain, and then next thing you know, the clouds clear and it's sunny again. So that's Irish weather for you. So yeah.
Yeah, I think we know all about this in both Britain, Ireland, and Melbourne, for that matter, because that's exactly how it works here still. So I feel like
that's why you live there, mate.
Exactly. It just works for me, man. We still get the kind of bleak, cold days in winter. Maybe not as much, but it's very, very similar to what English weather is. And hey, look, I know we've spoken a bit about weather, but before we go into training, I actually had so for those who are interested, I suppose, my partner Nicole works at the coroner's court in Victoria, and we have a little bit of a following from the coroner's court, and in matter of fact, one of the guys that she works with called Niels, this is a shout out to you, mate. Thanks for supporting the podcast.
Is Niels
Um,
is Niels Dutch? It's a very
he is
Dutch name.
Dutch. It is very
Ah,
Dutch. Yeah, so shout out to you. And he actually made a point of referencing that your favorite dog, Adam, is the dog he has.
wow.
And I think that's yeah, something I
Niels,
thought I'd bring up. There you
Niels,
go.
Niels. I like your name and I like your dog.
It is it's nice different. So, some names are just like a lot when you get especially the
Niels,
yeah,
Niels.
some of the Dutch names
No,
can
that's
be
a nice
pretty
name,
hectic. Yeah.
but I like
Well
your
done.
dog more.
There you go.
Yeah,
No,
slightly jealous of your dog, Niels.
so we need to crowdfund Adam to get one of these dogs. I can't even remember what the breed was for that matter, but
It's
um,
Hungarian Vizsla.
there you go. And how much will one of them set you back?
Quite a bit,
Quite a
quite a
bit.
bit.
Well, there
They're,
you
they're a
go.
spenny. They're a spenny enough. They're a spenny enough breed. Um, I think it would set you back more in terms of replacing stuff around your house that it might break.
Yeah, I'll piss on.
Yeah, I think yeah. But
We'll have to we'll have to do a GoFundMe or something like that for you, mate, for
but
your
you know what, mate?
birthday.
They're the perfect runner's dog. They are
Yeah.
the perfect runner's dog. Yeah, it's actually my birthday today.
Is it? No.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah,
Are you 31 today?
yeah. You've given away my age, mate.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I had
That's
to
all right, man.
because just to let people know you're officially older than me. But mate, happy birthday on camera. I mean, I would say I forgot. I actually didn't know in the first place. So
Mm.
sorry,
No,
but
thanks, mate.
yeah,
Appreciate it. Yeah.
you
So
had a good
anyone wants
morning.
to just drop a Hungarian Vizsla at my front door, is it would be a lovely gift.
I think whoever's listening to this, especially if you live in the Lurgan area, I think you should. It's rude not to, frankly, because we provide what is exquisite listening material, and Adam deserves a dog for that.
Should be careful what we wish for. I'm not sure Kira Kira would take to that too kindly. You know what though? I think if there was a puppy on the front door, she'd be pretty happy about it.
I think so. I also think today is about you, Adam. This is your day.
Ah,
Yeah.
cool. Cool.
Yeah.
For one day only.
Yeah, just one, man. Come on, we've both got partners. We know how this works. We get
Yeah,
one day.
one day only. Yeah.
Yeah. No, look. Before we actually get down this rabbit hole and start offending our partners and end up in the doghouse, pun intended. Talk to me about training, man. What's happening? We've been running? Pick us
We
up.
have indeed. We have indeed,
Hmm.
mate. Where did we leave off? Last Friday?
I think last Friday. Yeah.
So last Friday I rested. Just got out for a nice walk, actually, met my sister for a coffee, and then got soaked. Got soaked on the way home. And then Saturday morning I just got out for an easy run with a park run in the middle, and I just did the park run like progressive. So I didn't go to Lurgan Park. I went to the other one locally here, Craigavon, and just like started at the back and just kind of ran through. Just like an easy to steady park run and then an easy jog home for 10 miles, sorry, 11 miles. Met a couple of lads and did that. Then Sunday we did 16 miles, 1 hour 55 minutes, easy enough pace with a big group. Roadrunners crew and extras all headed down to Lurgan. So there was like, I want to say there was about 20 of us all up.
Wow.
So that was great on Sunday morning. And then, like I said, I was going off to Dublin for the Armagh game on Sunday afternoon. So we got the win in the Dubs backyard, which takes the pressure off our final group game and means that, yeah, our final group game against Galway, who we beat in the final last year, doesn't mean too much. In fact, it doesn't really affect the next stage of our competition at all. So that's always good. So we play again next weekend. We play Galway, and we'll probably go to that as well down in Cavan. So that was a good Sunday. Lovely Sunday actually, all up, because the weather in Dublin was pretty good. It threatened to rain, and then Yeah, that's a sign that we're old, isn't it? When we're just talking about the weather. But
Yeah, it always comes back to the weather, man.
that's
We
the
think
real
about it a
sign
lot.
of, it's a sign of age, isn't it? Like when I was younger, I didn't really care about the weather. Now that I'm 31, all I care about is the weather.
It's all that matters. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
So that was Sunday. And Monday, I just did single run. Um, I actually did, I did 8.5 miles and I did 10 times 200 meters in the middle. So those were just like relaxed speed. No faster than, I don't think I was running much faster than like my 5K pace, maybe a little bit faster. So relaxed speed off a 200-meter jog just to get that kind of turnover in the legs again, as we were talking about over the last couple of weeks. Tuesday, I did moderate 10 miles. So kind of just operated off heart rate for this run. Just got the heart rate to sit around like 145, which is kind of like LT1, or just below LT1 actually. So it's well within that range. Sort of came out at like, I think on the day it was like 5:55 to 6 minute miling. And I also did some surges through that run. So every like 5 to 6 minutes, I'd do like a 30-second surge just on feeling. Then a 5 mile jog that evening. Wednesday, easy 10 miles with Ronan, 78 minutes. And then the social run on Wednesday evening, which was class. I had leggings and a jacket on because it was freezing on Wednesday, and myself and Ronan got soaked on Wednesday morning. And then, typical Irish fashion, it was gorgeous on Wednesday night, so I was overdressed. That was fine. And then yesterday I did treadmill session. I did 8 by 5 minutes. Sort of starting out around LT1 and bringing it up through kind of the threshold range, but still very much sub threshold by the end. On the treadmill, and that felt great. I was wearing the Puma Deviate Nitro 3.
Did see that.
Lovely shoe. Exactly what I like in that type of shoe. Do you know, it's a proper training shoe. It does have a plate, but it doesn't feel like a super shoe. It's responsive. It's quite close to the ground. Like it doesn't have a high stack in comparison to a super shoe. It's nice and nimble. And I feel like you get, I don't know, sometimes I feel like the high stack carbon plated shoes, you're just not like, the shoe does all the work and you're not forced to do any of the work. Whereas this shoe, it kind of gives you that like aid with efficiency because of course it has the plate, it has like the high quality foam, but that like low stack, close to the ground feel, kind of more traditional, slightly more traditional feeling. I think it just forces you to do a little bit more. And I really like that in a training shoe, and it actually felt class on the treadmill because of that. Like I don't like a highly cushioned shoe on the treadmill because the treadmill's softer surface anyway.
You end up bouncing, right?
When you couple that with a really soft shoe, it can be unstable, just not much fun. This shoe just felt brilliant. Actually, I just realized I had the previous version of that shoe, or maybe the Deviate Nitro 1. McKeever's had actually given me a pair when they came out through Puma. And I didn't realize at the time, I just was wearing the shoe, not even realizing what model it was. And I had loved that shoe at the time. So it makes sense that I love the Nitro 3.
Have you won their super shoe? Because there's a lot of talk coming out about that at the moment, right?
I haven't. I've read mixed reports. I think they've done a class job at marketing the shoe and creating the demand, you know, with them selling out, and with they put them on the feet of like, they done like a big sub-3 project over the sort of spring marathons. And even in Boston, like we didn't go to any of the expo stuff in London, like we didn't go to any of the pop-ups around the city or nothing because we were just chilling the day before the marathon. But when we were in Boston, we did do all of that because I wasn't racing. So the Puma pop-up was unbelievable. It was like an art installation. They had giveaways, they had treadmills that you could run on, they had exclusive release of the shoe, where you couldn't buy it online or in stores, but you could buy it that weekend. So I think they've done an unbelievable job with their marketing. I think all the brands, like, you know, On Running, Puma, Asics, I think their marketing department is doing a really stellar job at the minute.
I think On are the only one that I'd probably I feel like On have gone really quiet. I don't want to take the
mate?
Go on.
5 years ago, On wasn't on the radar at all.
Yeah, it's true.
They were a nobody. Like, yes, triathletes wore them, but they have risen through the ranks over the last like 5 or 6 years. They have become a massive global brand. I feel like On I mean, I have no idea what their profits or what their growth has been like, but just from what you feel and what you see.
Mm. Mm. I mean, I'd like to try. I mean, I think I've mentioned to you, I know someone that works actually for On, and I'm tempted to be a little bit cheeky and be like, look, because it's end of financial year, can we organize a cloud boom strike for maybe slightly cheaper? Because I want to give it a go because it's uh, again, you don't see it very much, and again, it's mixed reports, but they say it's good if you prefer like more space in the toes, which typically for the super shoes that I'd want or the shoes that I wear, that's like exactly for me. But I do want to try that just because of how much. Again, I've only worn the Cloud Eclipse, and I love it to bits. Like it is my kind of perfect daily trainer. I'd have 10 pairs of those, frankly, and yeah, really happy with it. But I do want to try the Cloud Boom Strike.
Mm.
But yeah, I feel like they just haven't. I don't know if they're about to release something, but they haven't done anything big in a while.
Yeah, well, maybe that's just maybe they're on the precipice of a
mm,
big release. I feel like I would like the On shoe as well, but as we said before, money doesn't grow on trees, and
it's true.
we just can't try them all. You know, we wind each other up here in the group, myself and a couple of the lads. We anytime someone comes out in a new pair of shoes, you're a shoe dog. So
Shoe dog.
you have to be careful. You have to be careful with how many shoes you purchase and how many shoes you wear, because not only do you risk getting chucked out of the house by your wife, but you you risk getting a bit of abuse in the group there.
Yeah,
So
bits of
you
banter
don't
of a
you don't step out on a Sunday morning wearing a brand new pair of shoes, or yeah, you're in for it
deer.
for
Would
two
you go
hours.
out and
So that's no good.
is it worse if it's a super shoe? If you rocked up in like
Nah, it doesn't matter what it is,
it
mate.
doesn't even matter.
You're getting stick if you're wearing something fresh. But
Jesus.
yeah, you can get away with nothing, mate. So that was Thursday, 8 by 5 minutes. Really enjoyed that session. I just wanted to do 5 minute reps and was planning between 6 and 8 and felt great. So did 8.
You haven't done sorry to interrupt again, but you haven't really done too many treadmill sessions lately, have you? Or
No, because the weather's been so good, mate. Simple as that. Like when the weather's good, I'm training outside every day of the
Mhm.
week. I feel like I'm really good at controlling intensity too. So, you know, I feel like I've got to the point where the treadmill I feel is really useful for that control of intensity. I feel like I'm quite good at doing that because I kind of know where I like to train in town here now. I know the loops that I like to use for training. I know the loops that I like to use for mile reps, K reps, 5 minute reps, 10 minute reps, so on. So I feel like I can really moderate the intensity. And get the benefit from it. But the weather was absolutely shit yesterday, so jumped on the treadmill. And like I said, I wanted to do 5 minute reps and didn't care if it was 6, didn't care if it was 7, didn't care if it was 8. But felt great. Heart rate was in a good spot. Energy felt good. Body felt good. I cut it on 12, and yeah, capped it at 8. And then last night, after I finished work for the day, headed out for I think about 30. We'll just check. Yeah, 37 minutes, 5 miles, and I just stuck to the grass. So went into the little park behind, done a few laps around the pitches, and then made my way into the bigger park in town. And just basically hugged the grass in there. So I stuck to which I do on a lot of easy runs, anyways. And again, felt pretty good. Probably because I really did I've really controlled the intensity of training this week. Felt a little bit of fatigue creep in towards the tail end of last week, and just really made a big effort to be careful with control of intensity this week and keep it sub threshold. And yeah, I think that shows when your easy runs feel really good. Like you've got good energy, the pace is good versus the heart rate, and everything just feels nice. So yeah, that was good, mate. That brings us up to today. I'll probably get out for just an easy hour just after we finish, and that's where we're at. Yeah.
And that fatigue you were talking about, that was
Any
creeping in
questions,
was
Your Honor?
yeah, yes, a handful. talk to me about that fatigue. Is that just like feeling a little bit run down? Is that in the legs? Is it just kind of like in your bones? Talk to me about that.
Actually, not in the legs. I don't feel like fatigue really gets me in the legs. Like as a runner, you're always a little bit leggy. You know, you're never like absolutely popping. Sometimes you are, but do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
No, it tends to be more. How would I explain? Like grogginess,
Mm.
kind of like that little cloud of fatigue creeping in. So anytime that like even I even feel that, like I don't measure heart rate variability. I don't really look at resting heart rate. I do look at exercise heart rate from time to time, but um, only to train to, more than anything. Um, but yeah, just that feeling of I guess a bit of grogginess. I've been really busy with work over the last few weeks. Um, like I mentioned, I haven't been doing a massive amount of stuff on social media, and that's simply just because I've been really busy with coaching and looking after sort of my crop of athletes. And I think that sort of also feeds into sometimes just how you feel in your running.
Mm.
So no, I just felt it kind of in my brain as much as anywhere else. And then just listening to that and just being careful with the exercise intensity, especially because as you know, when you start sort of creeping over that threshold too often, in fact, at all really, the cost is exponentially higher of the exercise. The recovery cost. So you want to be very careful about how often you go there, or even going there at all. I mean, I would argue there's no real need to go there at all. So yeah, it's just a case of listening to that, knowing that, and then being careful with your training. I mean, you can still train loads, you can still do lots of training, you can still get some quality training banked. It's just about being careful with it, and I think that's a good thing to do all the time. I'm actually going to get the lactate meter out again next week. I think I haven't measured lactate in a long time, and
Mhm.
might just do a little bit of testing on myself just to see where things are and see where current thresholds lie. Um, to try and push that up over the coming weeks and months before I get into another marathon block for Dublin Marathon in October.
Yeah, I mean, talk to us about that. I mean, I guess that's news for the people. As much as we spoke about it off air, I think we've got
Yep.
some plans coming off the back of our conversation and a couple of weeks ago where you weren't too sure what direction you were heading in.
Yeah, so Dublin Marathon is confirmed for October. Accepted the place yesterday, came through to the email yesterday. So Dublin Marathon October, looking forward to
Mhm.
that. And
Is that
that's where I ran my
fast?
very first. Yeah,
Fast
it
one?
is fast. Yep, I think it's faster than I think a lot of people give it credit for. It's not like a pancake flat course, but
Hmm.
I know a lot of guys that have their PB in Dublin. A lot of really fast athletes that have their PB in Dublin. So if conditions are right, I think mate, conditions are so big
Mm.
in marathon running, and like people talk about London being a fast course, but it's rarely really cool in London. You're
Yeah,
always going to
yeah.
be. It's late April. I mean, you can't expect it to be 5 or 6 degrees, um, and conditions play such a huge factor. So the course is one thing, but the conditions for me are more important. So, and it's like there's a half marathon course here in Ireland called Oma. And Oma like is quite a hilly course, but again, like my half marathon PB's there, and I know a lot of guys that have their half marathon PB in Oma. So it's like conditions have to play a big role. So yeah, Dublin, the first half is a little bit hillier than the second half. So if you're conservative and you get through the first half unscathed, there's definitely a time to be had there. And I think the beauty about it is that it's a local marathon. Well, it's up the road, so you don't have to travel too far. There's not the stress of it being a huge city marathon, but at the same time, it's a good marathon. It's not like
Mm.
you're not going to be, hopefully, fingers crossed, you're not going to be running solo from mile 1 to mile 26. Um, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. That's where I ran my first marathon back in 2018 when I started running. I didn't even run it in my own name, but it's a good one. So I can't wait to get on the start line again. And we go down, myself and Kira, we usually go down every year because we would know a lot of people running it each year. We would always go down to support. So it's going to be nice to be on the start line this year, all being well.
Yeah, so you're going to travel up in the morning or you're going to go day before or something?
Day before, I booked a hotel actually for a couple of nights. one or two. I can't remember actually, but I booked that a few weeks ago, even before I had the place. It was one of those bookings that you can just cancel if needs be. So I think we've booked. Oh, it's 1 or 2 nights, mate. But yeah, we're definitely going to go down the night before and just chill. And then it's half term. It's actually our first wedding anniversary.
It's all
That
happening.
weekend. So
Oh,
the weekend
wait.
of Dublin's our first wedding anniversary, and then it's half term. So we might post Dublin Marathon. We might try to get a few days of a break somewhere, which would be a lovely way to celebrate the end of a marathon block. But more importantly, my wedding anniversary.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you
Make sure I get that in there.
did you ask Kira permission before booking the marathon on
It's
anniversary
easier. It's
weekend?
easier to ask for forgiveness, mate.
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree. And
No,
look,
Kira is very supportive. So very supportive. So do you know what, mate? I think Kira enjoys marathons more than me. Um, so
yeah,
I think so.
just
Yeah,
we'll just tell
she loves
ourselves that, yeah.
she loves the marathon weekend, right?
Yeah, 100%.
No, so yeah, hopefully we'll get a few days of chill after that, because it's lovely. Like, I'll be off training, so I won't be training the week after Dublin Marathon. I'll be taking my break if everything goes to plan. And similarly, Kira's going to be off school, so that aligns really nicely with a chance to, yeah, maybe, I don't know, go somewhere. So that's that. And then in other news, I booked a marathon for early 2026. So should we keep that? Should we keep that on ice for now, or should we let the listeners know what the crack is?
It's up to you, mate. This is your marathon, bro. You can divulge if you wish to divulge. Otherwise, we
We'll
can
divulge.
announce.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
we'll
go on then.
divulge. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, go on.
Why would we keep? Why would we keep it a secret, mate?
Exactly.
So yes, got a place confirmed for Seville Marathon in February. So 15th of February 2026. If all goes to plan, I never like to take anything for granted.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be on the start line of Seville Marathon, which is a really fast European flat, fingers crossed, perfect conditions marathon, a place where lots of people go to run their best marathons, their fastest marathons. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I've wanted to run a race like that for a while. I did have Valencia booked the year that I took the seizure for the December. I had Valencia booked and everything sorted, and then whenever I had the seizure and the pulmonary embolism, I just pulled the pin on plans for the year. So I'm looking forward to getting prepped. Yes, it'll mean preparing for a marathon over Christmas. It'll mean prepping for a marathon during the shittiest months of weather in Ireland, but that's fine, mate. I don't mind. Whenever there's something in the diary and there's a mark, there's a big X on the calendar for the 15th of February. Yeah, that's one that I can definitely get excited for. So that's in the pipeline as well.
Yep. And the reason, I guess, just to, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but for the listeners who maybe aren't as adepts into the racing world, that the reason why some of these marathons, especially like Seville and Valencia, is probably the one that's been like really, really hyped of late, is that they're actually quite difficult to get into, because so many people want to go to these races, and they are so fast that you're not guaranteed a PB, but it's a likelihood that you will be able to PB. It makes it really difficult to get into. So if you do manage to get a spot, it's a big deal, frankly. And it's obviously a nice trip to go to Spain and enjoy some hopefully good weather in Feb. Does it get quite hot or?
No,
Nah.
it doesn't get hot, but it should be nice and bright, cool. Fingers crossed, mate. It should be perfect marathon running conditions. I mean, that's why people go to the Valencias and the Sevilles of this world, for, of course, the fast course, but importantly, like we just said there, the conditions. So you're hoping for, like, I mean, my dream is to run a marathon in like 5 degrees, no wind at all, pancake flat course, and just, yeah, be in shape as well. Of course, you want to be in tip-top condition, because you're not going to run a PB if you're not in tip-top shape and ready to race. But yeah, everything needs to align. But you got to go to the fast courses, hopefully, to run the fast times. But then, like I just said to you, I know a lot of people that have ran some fast races across Europe, and they've still ran their personal bests in the likes of Dublin. And like I just said, everything has to align to run a good marathon, and that's from your fitness and the course and the conditions, but also like your mental space. And I think some people go into Dublin with a calmer mind because it's local. You just don't have to be as stressed. You're not traveling. you maybe get to sleep in your own bed. And just you don't put as much necessarily, maybe as much pressure on yourself. So I do think I'm pretty good at going into races, regardless of where they are, in a relaxed state of mind, because I'm just like, what'll be, will be, and it's no big deal. It's just a run at the end of the day. But I've also known a lot of people that have raced in fast places and still have set their personal bests on courses that quote unquote aren't just as fast as like your European halves. We also have to remember too, like those pancake flat courses, yes, they're fast because they're flat, but you know, there's a skill to running on a flat course for 2.5 hours. You know, where your muscles aren't getting any sort of variation how they're being
So
loaded.
consistent. Yeah.
There's something about that as well. And like in the prep for that, I might do a few really solid flat tempos on like a towpath. Where typically in the London build I didn't do any training on a towpath. Like I don't really like it because I prefer to get some strength out of some undulations. But just to teach the body to run long on that, like just pancake flat surface, I might do a couple of like marathon tempos on a really flat pancake flat course. So that's something in the distant enough future to look towards. And just realised that's also Valentine's weekend, so I'm really treating Kira, aren't I?
Hey, I'm sure she'll love it more than you, frankly. Going to Seville of
Kira,
Valentine's Day.
If you're listening, we're heading to Seville.
Yeah,
Valentine's.
She doesn't know about this
No,
yet.
she
Right?
does. She does know.
Okay, good.
And again, it works really well. Like, what a thoughtful person I am, because it's half term the week before, so we're spending our half term heading off to Seville for the marathon. So we'll head off on like the Wednesday or Thursday, and yeah, Kira will be off, so that'll be good.
Fantastic. So basically, Kira, without any without any saying about how you're spending your week off, coming with me, supporting me in my taper prior to the race. Adam, you know what? I might have to start taking notes, frankly, because
you have a lot to learn, haven't you?
I really do, and it all comes with age. Like you've just turned 31. I've still got a few months to go till I'm 31 now. I've got time, basically, to follow in your footsteps, man.
Yeah, so that's the crack, mate. That's what's happening. And like I think I even felt a little spring on my step yesterday, because you've got Dublin sorted, we've got Seville sorted, and it just gives you a bit of energy, that, doesn't it? When those things are in, when you've got those goals that are, yes, they're in the future, but they mean something to you. You've got you've got a bit of purpose in your running again, and it comes at a nice time because I've recovered after London, getting back into training, starting to feel good again, and yeah, just crack on from there. But let's hear a little bit from you, mate. How has the injury woes been going?
I was going to say,
Bradley Wiggins.
I mean, I wish more like Chris Froome, frankly. Looking at my,
do you really wish?
form.
Do you really wish you were Bradley? He's let
himself go a little bit.
Let himself go, but he's a bit of a rock star, isn't he?
He is now. He's been. I saw him training with Lance Armstrong a couple of months back, and I really like Lance Armstrong. Frankly, I think we spoke about this before. I still think he's a phenomenal athlete, and I think very highly of Brad Wiggins as well, for the record. Yeah. But he's not really looked after himself that much since retiring.
He seems to be getting back into it, though.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. But I mean, yeah, I think he's definitely one of those people that is a bit of a rock star, just wants to have a bit of a good time in his retirement. But yeah, look, it's ironic we were talking about having something to ground you and looking forward to races, because I was actually supposed to be racing. It's again Friday evening here. I was looking forward to doing my 10K on Sunday, which there is zero chance of me attending at this point. So let's wind back the clock. So where did we left off? It was Friday. I got this was prior to my scan. Yeah, so I got my scan done on Saturday. I got a ultrasound and I got a X-ray. So they were basically just trying to find out what was wrong with my heel. And the woman who ultrasounded me, the photographer.
I was just about to say the photographer.
Lovely woman from Dublin, and we had a nice chat. We did, as she was rubbing my foot with a piece of apparatus. and I had my face buried in a bed, lying on my front. But she, no, it's genuinely really nice lady.
It's
Go on.
that sounds
It
like
was
an
an
experience.
it was certainly an experience, but no, she was great, and she was. They're not actually supposed to tell you. This is something that Amph, the physio, was talking to me about. He was like, "Look, they're not really supposed to give you any indication of what's happened because that's not their job. They are glorified photographers. They're just kind of taking the images." And
Careful now.
I straight up said to her, I was like, "Look, there was a bit of issues where I was forced to pay for it. I wasn't supposed to. This is meant to be on what is like the equivalent of the NHS. But there was just something wrong with the referral. So I kind of, they told me I'd be out of pocket, and I was like, look, I just want to get this done ASAP. So let's just do it, whatever. So they were being quite nice to me because I think they were expecting me to kick up a bit of a fuss, but I'm just not that person. I'm not going to give them a hard time. It's not their fault. But they were being really nice to me, and she was like, "No, straight up, what I can see is plantar fasciitis and bursitis." So I got hit with the double whammy. But she was like, "The bursitis isn't bad enough to need it to warrant drainage or steroid injection for what she could see." And I was like, "Okay, well, thanks." She basically just confirmed that the two of the things they were kind of looking for, they found. And I literally went straight out of that into the X-ray room. And the first thing he says to me, he was like, "Look, we're obviously looking for a stress fracture, but it's unlikely it'll even show up if we do the X-ray." I was like, "Great. So you're kind of saying that I might get the all clear, but even if I do, it's not like 100%. But nonetheless, I got the all clear. They were like, the bone looks healthy. But again, at this point, there's next to no chance of there being a stress fracture, which is fantastic. A week on, like there has been some positive news, I guess, come out of it. But at the time, I was a little bit like, oh, this is kind of feeling like it's not been a great outing, frankly, because you've said I've got two of the things that I could have had, and I might still have a stress eat out of all of this. I wasn't well, obviously not with them. It's not their fault, but I wasn't best pleased. But I obviously didn't run Sunday. I did some time on the bike, and for anyone that kind of knows a little bit about cross training, you need to spend more time doing things like the elliptical and riding to get the same benefit as you would running, because typically it takes more to get the heart rate up. Basically, that was my goal with the cross training, is just get my heart rate into my kind of higher aerobic zones and try and maintain it. So I ended up doing, I think, an hour and 40 on the bike that Sunday, and this was fine for the foot. So I just kind of smashed a bit of a session where I did some intervals and then just did some like cruising, just to, again, just almost like a warm up and a cool down, which felt fine. It was nice to just feel like I was doing something. And then I didn't actually get to speak to Amph the physio until Wednesday. So basically Monday and Tuesday I was on the elliptical at the gym. And the issue here, you might be thinking, great, you work at a gym, you got access to an elliptical, fantastic. It doesn't actually work. So it's kind of on a fixed difficulty level. So you're kind of just stuck doing whatever it gives you. And it's pretty terrible. It was not fun, and it loads up the quads a lot. So this is something that I was speaking to Coach David about, especially off the back of watching that Jakob Ingebrigtsen video, because he said the same thing. He was like, when you're doing things like the elliptical or the arc trainer, is you're taking the leg for a greater range of motion through knee flexion. And so I'm like, man, what's holding me back? And again, I was rugged up. I was like, I need to get my heart rate up on this thing because it's not really much resistance. So I was there in my tracksuit trying to get heat in, because that's the only thing that was going to actually elevate my heart rate. I got there. But I was like, man, my quads are feeling this heaps. And I ended up doing three sessions, three elliptical sessions, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And by the end of it, I was like, man, I'm starting to get quad DOMs here. So I'm clearly going to end up with jacked quads by the end of this week. But yeah, that wasn't fun. But at least it kind of didn't aggravate the heel too much. And then on Tuesday, I did my normal elliptical session. I think I did half an hour, but I spoke to one of the other physios that works at the gym, and I was like, "Look, can I test out just running?" Because I was strapped up at the time. I had some couple of orthopedic insoles in my shoes to take some of the pressure off my heel. It was like, "Yeah, look, you can, as long as it doesn't hurt, you can take it for what is like a recovery run for me," which ended up being I did 2 by kind of 15 minutes, and the first of those 15 minutes was in I was just in the on cloud eclipse, and it didn't feel great. Honestly, I was like, look, I can feel this. It's not as bad as it was last week, but I'm definitely feeling something. And then I actually put on the Alpha Flies to see if a super shoe would help with a bit more kind of cushioning, and it did, but still not great. So I came out of that feeling basically the same, just like, okay, whatever's wrong is still wrong, funnily enough. But then I did manage to speak to Anth on Wednesday, and by this time they actually gave the report from the scans as well. So he had the images from Saturday, basically right after they did it, but they send them off to get actually analyzed by the specialists, and they kind of confirmed
ChatGPT.
that, yeah, basically it's no Gemini now, mate.
We're getting in
Um,
a lot of trouble today, man.
yeah, nah. So the photographers that were on ChatGPT told me that I was fine. Now look,
No, we're joking.
they they confirmed that there was no stress fracture, which is fantastic, and they confirmed there was no tear in the plantar fascia, which they thought there could have been, because my heel, basically where the heel meets the rest of the foot, there was a thick band of bruising from where the swelling had gone down, and it was like very, very tender to touch. So Anth was saying like, look, this might be torn, which again is a massive headache because
Mm.
it's just a lot longer to heal. But we got confirmation of no tear. They didn't really mention the bursitis, which is odd, but again, they did say it was only mild when I spoke to the woman. Because for anyone who wants to know a bit about anatomy, where the bursa sits is right at the bottom of the Achilles, where the Achilles attaches to the calcaneal, which is the heel bone. And then the plantar fasciitis is basically across the heel and where it runs along the foot all the way to the toes. So I basically got hit with a double whammy, for like all the way from the back to the front. There was an issue. But I don't know if it was just the positivity of knowing that there was a bit of good news. That I felt it start to improve. It could have been like a mental thing, because to be quite honest, like spending 3 days on the elliptical, I was like, I'm not sure I can do this for much longer, because it's dreadful.
Head
It's like
wrecking.
it's head wrecking, and it's not even like treadmill running where at least I'm kind of enjoying it. I'm doing it. I'm like, I'm getting really nothing from this elliptical work, because my heart rate, I'm working so hard to get my heart rate up to make it worthwhile. And I can't, it's not like I can take because I've got the bike, I've got the Wahoo set up, but that's at home. I can only do that when I'm at home during the day, which is Friday kind of afternoon and over the weekend. So it's like midweek, I was like, if I can't run, I'm going to be stuck on a crap elliptical for what is the foreseeable future, and it's just wrecking my quads. It's not giving me much aerobically. I'm just going to end up like getting injured basically with a quad strain or something. So I'll be honest, I did like get a little bit, it was just like messing with the mental health side of things. And again, I try not to, it's stupid because it doesn't really matter. And I was telling myself that, I was like, look, it's not an important thing. Like I've got my health. I can still function. I can still walk around. But I think it's just the fact that I wasn't able to do something that I really enjoyed and that is such an important part of my life. And then getting in my head that you're probably going to end up regressing if you don't start doing something more regularly. That is going to stimulate the aerobic system and not just the legs. But
Mm.
then, right when I needed it, Thursday, I had a session. I had a talk with Amph, and I booked in a session, and I was able to go for a little trot, because at this point I had noticed that there was like quite a significant improvement in pain, to the point where this time last week when we were chatting, I was telling you off air that I couldn't stand on my heel barefoot at all. It was too painful. To the point where I was able to stand barefoot, and it was like noticeably better. So I took it out for my shortest run, which was 8K. No strides, no speed. It was just 8K, super comfortable. And I was aware of it, but whereas before I couldn't put any weight onto my heel at all, I was running normal and it wasn't changing my gait. It was just like every so often I'd be like, okay, I can feel there's still a little bit of fluid under my heel. It wasn't painful. So I finished that run feeling quite positive, and then I got a little bit of work done and did some exercises with AMP, like some actual hands-on stuff on the gym floor to try and basically relieve the plantar fasciitis. And by the end of that session, we did an hour together in total, but then probably 20 minutes of that doing some exercises. I was walking barefoot, which is something I haven't been able to do in what is nearly a month. So I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, in my head, I was like, I shouldn't be able to walk barefoot because I haven't been able to do it in a month, and I've just been ignoring it. But now I was there walking up and down, like just
Good.
overjoyed that I could do that. So I'm starting to feel very positive, and again, I'm not pushing my luck. Like we have a plan for the next couple of weeks whereby there'll be no intensity in my running. It'll be basically from Monday, trying to see if I can get up to maybe 50K across next week of running, and then still kind of supplementing that with a little bit of cross training just to make sure I'm getting the total mileage up. And then, barring any issues next week, I will be able to start peppering in some intensity, maybe Friday earliest. If not, I think next Sunday. But unfortunate that again, I did a session on the bike today, which was fantastic. We can chat about that if you want. And I'll do another session on the bike on Sunday. But feeling a lot more positive that I can
Good,
run
man.
and I'm not
Good, man.
completely restricted. So
Good.
it's not all
Yeah,
doom
no,
and
I was
gloom.
just thinking just about the elliptical slash bike. Like
Mm,
I have used it a couple of times when injured, and the way I like to structure the sessions is a really good way to accumulate volume, I think. And I
mm,
even do this for running sometimes, like to get quite a high volume session in without it feeling really boring or mundane, but it's just to vary the length of time of interval. So you could do like you could do a pyramid session where you go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and then back down the other side with like
mm.
30 seconds to a minute recovery between each rep, depending on the intensity, or even more, again, depending on the intensity. And that's like you could have an hour of like threshold work done or an hour of sort of good solid training done before you know it. I always cut the warm ups and cool downs down and focus more on getting more quality work in on the elliptical and the
Yeah,
bike, because you can kind of get the body up to speed a little bit quicker, I find. And then, like, I always take the first rep as a warm up rep anyway. So it just means you're not sitting like for 15 or 20 minutes the way you would be when you go out to warm up for a run. You're not sitting for like 15 or 20 minutes just spinning your legs, just like see. Because, like, on the elliptical or on the bike, if you're going easy, you see every second, never mind minute. You know, it's so
yeah.
long. So, like, just for anyone listening, if you are cross training, I always think that's a great way to like bank time without um without it feeling completely boring. Or you could do like, I would maybe do like 4 by 5 minutes, an 8 minute rep, 3 by 5 minutes, a 6 minute rep, you're literally just creating some variability in the reps. So you're breaking the session up into these chunks. I like to do that when I'm running too, when I'm just doing threshold work, for example.
Mm.
Like no one says you have to do 6 by 5 minutes or 10 by 3 minutes or 8 by 1K. You can vary it. It's about a body of work as opposed to like these are 1K intervals because they have to be 1K intervals. But I always think that's useful. And
Mm.
if you are, I know your elliptical isn't a great one, but if you're ever doing some elliptical work, I think that's a nice way to do it. Um, but good to hear things are on the turn, mate. I wanted to ask you, what do you think caused the injury?
Basically, what we can't know for sure. It's to me, I think it's very likely there was probably something there before the marathon, and it was just one of those things that has always been there, because they even found really interesting, actually, at least I find it interesting, is in my so my I've had issues with my left leg, just like little things that I've been working with Amp since I basically started working with him, which is about a year and a half ago, where I've had problems with initially my quads, and I've had problems with my calf. And again, not injuries, just things we need to work on, because I'd feel something was getting tight or something was getting a little bit strained, and we try and fix it. And what they found in the X-ray was that basically where I've run a certain way, or that just there's natural asymmetry in the body. I've got like a little bit of a calcification on the back of my heel, where I've adapted to just my heel being a certain shape. So bone has grown to try and prevent it. And this isn't a recent thing. This is likely going to be something that's happened over the course of my life. But what it has meant is that I'm trying not to butcher this, but basically where the bursa sits, or where the bursa is basically there to allow for like smooth sliding between the joint and the connective tissue. But this basically bit of bone has stopped that, or kind of it makes this more
Yeah.
difficult. So that's why it's been so uncomfortable. Um,
Yeah, it
and
makes sense.
because maybe where I've had a tendency to, so my tibialis anterior, again, this is like a posterior, sorry, this is a nice little strip of muscle that runs on the inside of your between the shin and the calf. On my left side, it basically gets drastically overworked, and it's all tied together. It's all tied to the plantar fasciitis, to the issues I've been having with my calf. We've basically now just been confirmed it. Um, I've got a tendency to pronate. So when I step on camera, I turn in like that a lot. And because the inside of my foot has been rubbing against my shoe from pronating so much, I've basically got like a massive internal callus on my foot as well. And Anth was showing me this. We were like looking at my feet side by side, and the asymmetry is actually pretty wild. I'm not going to show anyone on my feet right now, but maybe I'll
You
take a
pay for
picture
that.
for you, Adam. Yeah, you have to pay extra for that. But yeah, it's super interesting, because it's basically telling me that this is things that have been happening my whole life. And it basically, I've completely gone off topic. You asked me what caused it. I will get there, I promise, mate. But yeah, it's basically getting to my point of that. I think there was probably something wrong, or something there going into the marathon. Did the marathon, it was probably quite stressful, but again, I didn't have any issues. But where I then had that kind of week off, basically, and then ramped things back up, it was probably just a little bit too quick.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit too stressful, because it was the second week back that I felt it initially. And I think it was basically the straw that I think it would have happened anyway, frankly.
Hmm.
And yeah, no one was to know. It was just one of these things that it was a ticking time bomb. Could have happened during the marathon. It could have happened a month later, 6 weeks. I think it was just going to happen. But
Yeah.
yeah, just
Well,
basically
you're
that.
on the turn, which is good.
Yeah, 100%. And
Good
I'm
stuff.
yeah pleased to say I don't have my heel in ice today, and I'm walking around barefoot, which is lovely. So, but
Excellent.
I have been. Let's talk about cycling, man. I've been loving jumping on the bike, far out.
You got a sore
Um,
backside yet?
Now I did last week, the first, so that my Friday session last week, which I only ended up doing like a little bit over an hour. And then Sunday, I noticed my bum was pretty sore, and I was like, oh, I need to like adapt to this. But then today I did hour
I'm
and
just
a
on your
half,
Strava having a little look actually.
having a cheeky look. Yeah, I need to improve my form a little bit. I was
Yeah, you
watching
look
the
good on that
video
bike though.
today. I do, mate. But you see, my hips are moving quite a lot, and that was during one of my FTP intervals. Um, I think I need to work on just kind of getting my circles with the legs, as opposed to bouncing. But
Could
yeah,
your could your saddle be a little bit higher?
I was gonna say lower. I thought almost lower a touch, because you see how I'm
Yeah.
almost like jolting. I think it could be lower, maybe a fraction.
Yeah. Have you adjusted the fore aft of your saddle or your handlebars?
I've had to play around with it.
We're
This
going to go
is
down the gonna go down the biomechanics of cycling now.
Yeah, we have to.
Um, I'm
I
just
think.
looking at the bottom of your stroke. Do you know,
Tell
like
me
the
about
very when your pedal, when
that.
your crank is in the 6 p.m. position, like the
Yeah,
very the bottom.
I know.
I think your leg could be slightly straighter.
You reckon? See, to me, it felt like it was
Do you
slight.
feel like you're stretching?
Yeah, I feel like I'm stretching. I was like, I don't wanna.
Well,
I
then,
don't want to
yeah,
go any higher.
no, you don't want to be, because you don't want to feel like your hips are having to like move on the saddle
Yeah,
to actually
shuffle.
reach the bottom of a stroke. But it could also be a flexibility thing, and it could also be the position of your handlebars, both the height and the fore aft. But you said you adjusted that, so yeah, the bike's a complicated thing, and it's one of those things that you
So
need
many
to be careful
variables.
with how many things you play with at once.
Hmm.
Um, and you can overthink it too, can't you? You get into your own head thinking like, could I be in a better position? But no, you look good, mate. The legs are turning nicely.
Yeah, I felt pretty strong. I like, again, I've not really got much to compare it to, but I do have. So for anyone that's got or doesn't know about the bike I'm using, it's one of these Wahoo indoor trainers. They are fantastic. So what I've got on my laptop, I've got the session I'm doing, and on my phone, I've basically got a little screen that's like a cycling computer. It's telling me my cadence, my power
That's
output.
class.
I don't really
That's a
need
class
much
piece of kit.
else. It's fantastic. But I was like,
Class.
just I was trying to for the intervals, the FTP intervals. I was trying to maintain above 200 watts, which, hey, I'm not a cyclist, man. I thought that was pretty good. I'm 64 kilos, putting out like over
Four and a
200
half watts per
watts.
kilo.
Yeah, I'm like,
Good
maybe,
man.
man, maybe
Not
Brad
too bad.
Wiggins, okay, Chris Froome.
Mate, have
Um,
you seen the numbers that like Pogacar can hold?
go on. I know he's like five
They
six watts
are
per.
scary. They are
Yeah,
scary. The watts that man can hold going
he's
up
so.
uh going up a mountain pass or for hours on it, mate. His aerobic system is it's like no other. It is
Yeah.
scary when you look at the data from I'd be a bit of a nerd on just looking at some of the, like, on Twitter. Sometimes I would look at some of the RX, as it's known. I would sometimes look at, like, I would follow a few uh sort of cycling expert. They're not even like, they wouldn't be in the public sphere so much. They're like cycling nerds, really, and
Yeah.
they analyze and break down some of the numbers and some of the data, sometimes with a slightly skeptical eye. Do you know?
Ooh,
Because
yeah.
sometimes it is like beyond what people believe to be the limits of human
Super,
performance. But that's
superhuman.
not what
Yeah.
we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
But those numbers that man, and like any Tour de France or any like Grand Tour rider at a professional level can hold, but his are like, oh, it's silly. It is silly.
It's unbelievable. I still prefer as a rider. I love Jonas Vingegaard. I can just watch him. I
You've
don't
got a
know.
bit of Scandinavian about you, mate. I think
It's
that's what it
all
is.
it's also just that like climbing style rider, right? It's like it's the Chris Froomes of this world. Like I love Chris Froome to bits, man. When I was properly into cycling, he was like the bee's knees. Just seeing him in that yellow jersey, like just absolutely slaying it for Team Sky, and then like Jonas for Visma, man. I could just watch these guys all day, just that proper skill, like skeletal boys going up a hill. I'm like,
Yeah, I
yeah,
like
man,
Vinegar too. He's a nice. He seems like a really nice bloke as well, and he's come back from what could have been a career-ending injury. So
100%, yeah.
yeah, unreal. But you're channeling your inner Jonas then at the minute.
I really am. That's what I'm thinking in my head, man. I'm just like, what would Jonas do? I even let the elbows. You know, Chris Froome's got his like wings when he used to
Yeah.
climb. He used to hold the tops and then let his elbows kind of really wing out. I'm like, yeah, fucking let's go Froome style to get this last interval. um,
Oh dear.
yeah, the things we do is
Are you flicking your elbow at the end of a sprint? You know, for the person behind you to come around and take a pull on the front. You know the way
yeah,
they flick their elbow.
giving it a wave. Yeah, no,
No,
it's
they
it's
literally
it's full on wave.
they just flick their elbow out. You know, when they've got their hands on the handlebars, and instead of like calling someone up, they just flick the elbow out, and that means they're done.
That's
But sometimes they do that when they're bluffing as well. You know, cycling's
yeah.
a very
It's a
tactical
mental.
sport,
Yeah.
and when they're sort of helping each other out, going up the climbs, or trying to take, a turn on the front. When your turn's done, they flick an old elbow out, and that means it's time for the next guy to take up the mantle.
No, I was celebrating though when I finished that session. It was like you're doing your final interview. Interval. You cross the line and you're just there doing. Matt, I feel like cycling celebrations is now getting to the point where it's almost like footballers celebrating. They're always trying to do something different. I don't know if you saw. I don't know which stage of the Giro. It was one of the last ones where. I forgot
I
the
did.
guy
I
who
know what you're gonna
won the say.
say.
Did
Did he
the
do like the?
bow?
Yeah.
Oh,
That,
it's
that
like
was class.
that's
That was
class. It was
class.
so good because he was in the
Yeah.
pink jersey as well.
I
Oh
try to do
man,
that. I'm coming off the bike. That was the young
yeah,
Italian that held the pink jersey for pretty much. I can't remember his
the
name
whole
either, but
thing. Yeah,
he
yeah,
had the pink. He was in pink until the final day, and then Yitzi put in one of the stages of his life
mate,
to
I love
win,
it.
to claw back. Like I think he actually took the lead. He was about a minute and a half back, and he took
It was
the
a
lead
minute
by about
20.
3.5 minutes. So he basically overcame or he put in a 5 minute deficit into that Italian bloke. That really, what was his name? That young Italian. I
He
can't
was with
remember.
the EF Easy Post fella, and they left him. They were like, yeah, let's just let this guy go, and he was like, yeah, I'm having this today. This is
And
mine.
then the Italian, and was it? Oh man, we're gonna butcher this.
We've not done well here with our
Who
names.
was he with? Was it Carapaz? I think it was Carapaz.
Carapaz, yeah, Carapaz.
They were like looking at each other, basically saying like, "Who's going to go? Who's going to do the work
Yeah,
here?" And they just spent like,
neither of them fancied it.
none of them fancied it. And you're
Mhm.
like, "Come on here, get your act together, lads!" Like they probably were then thinking like we're competing for 2 and 3 here,
Mhm.
opposed to like let's get up behind this guy and get the win. But it was like they just not let Yatesy go, but was it Simon Yates? He just hear me
Yeah,
calling him Yatesy as if I know him, like
yeah, yeah. I see him every day. Where's he
listening to
from?
too
Where are
much
they
cycling
from?
commentary.
Are they
Simon
English?
and Adam, they're Aussie. Oh, sorry, they're
They're
originally
English.
English actually, but they grew
Yeah,
up and lived in Australia. Apologies.
yeah.
Aren't they English?
No,
Yeah, I'm
they're
nearly sure they are.
because they're definitely
Yeah,
British. It's just whereabouts
yeah,
in
yeah. Yeah, they're from Manchester.
There you go.
Yeah,
No,
they're legends, mate.
I love seeing an English, obviously an English rider as well, winning a Grand Tour. Again, takes me back
But I think that they've pretty
to the
much
Team
lived
Sky
in.
days.
I think they no grew up in Manchester.
I think I know who you're
I
talking
could have
about.
swore.
There's another set of twins who are Aussie riders, and they ride for the same team. Whereas the Yates brothers ride for different teams.
They do. Yeah, I
Who,
don't know what
who,
was in my head about them in Australia. I just had it in my head that they lived in Australia or something. I don't know.
there you
Um,
go.
but yeah, that's his second Grand Tour. He won the Vuelta a lot of years ago,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that was cool.
Big
So
finish, big finish.
that's the cycling.
See, and we've lost half of our
Have you been shaving your
listenership.
legs, mate?
Mate, I've shaved my legs anyway, bro.
Dude,
100%. Mate, they are crisp.
okay.
I'm
Well, I
so
only really
aero.
shave mine when I'm going to go race, but haven't done that in a
Really?
while. Yeah, a bit hairy at the minute.
Mate, I'm once a week on a Friday, like clockwork. Seriously, because I'm there. I'm doing my
That
arms.
take you
So
forever.
nah,
What do you mean you're
I'm
doing your
rapid.
arms?
I do my arms, man. See, you don't
What?
you wouldn't yeah you wouldn't have
For
this,
your
but
tats?
because I've got tattoos, yeah. And I've got you'll know this because we've got really fine blonde hair. If I let my hair grow out, it just makes my tattoos look really washed out. So I've been
Ah,
shaving my arms probably for a decade since I've been had my arms tattooed, and then doing my
it's a
legs.
bit
It's
of
just
work,
like
mate.
nah, extra like not even 5 minutes. It's a very
Actually,
slapdash job. Yeah, I'm just like
flapdash.
just
And
get it done.
tell me
Go
this.
on.
Is there a bit of a protocol here? Like, is it what's the razor you're using? Are you using shaving foam? Are you using some other product? Are you moisturizing?
Nah, raw dogging, man. Just
You,
dry.
are you in the shower? Are
Imagine.
you in the bath?
Yeah,
Talk me
look, all
through
right.
it.
So, how it typically works is
Because for me,
I'll
shaving my legs is a task. Like
really?
that's an hour. That's an hour I have to set aside. Yeah.
I'll actually, I'm willing to tell you this. So,
But it's like a ritual before a big race, and it always makes you feel like
it's
you
a
see those
mental
veins
thing.
popping on your legs. You're like, "Yep, I'm ready to go."
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we'll come on to some veins, not in a weird way, but basically Friday afternoon. Yeah. I'm home from work. I've done my session. jump in the shower, always in the shower. Don't have to use any shaving foam. I just kind of get lathered up with some shower gel. I'm painting a picture here, boys. And it's literally like Gillette, one of these, not the crappy disposable ones, but it's kind of mid tier where you're paying about kind of the equivalent of about £10 for one of these things. So that it's fine. I've
How
done my
often are you
arms.
replacing it?
Oh, I don't know, mate. Couldn't tell you when it looks when it's feeling a little bit too friction, too much
When it's
friction.
cutting the shit out of you.
Yeah, 100%. I'd guess maybe every couple of months, but I'm not a hairy
Right.
bloke, frankly, so it's not like
Yeah.
it's getting hard work out. But
I guess every
um,
Friday you're kind of staying on top of it, aren't you?
exactly, 100%. It's not like it's a forest or anything on my legs and my arms, but yeah. So look, back to my routine, right? So I've done my arms. I'm just used a little bit of shower gel onto the legs. I'll go kneeling
Only,
because it's
sorry, like only
go
share
on.
as much as you're comfortable sharing here.
Mate, I'll tell everyone. Frankly, I'll tell everyone. Um, yeah, get the legs done. Go always from ankle up, and then yeah, just finish my shower. Do everything else, armpits, and then get dry. A little bit of moisturising. Do my face as well. Not that I have to do much, but that's probably the quickest part, frankly, my face. But yeah, done. Happy days. A little bit of Cetaphil,
My goodness.
moisturiser, good
What's
stuff.
that? Oh, okay, moisturizer. Yeah, mate. I've just took a few notes there, so no, it's a bit of a task for me to shave the legs. It's an hour. Anyone has any tips, recommendations, please send them my way. Um, I've had it's not an
You could
easy
get.
job.
I mean, you don't have tattoos, so you could probably just get laser.
Mm.
I can't get laser
Does
because I'm
that does that
tattooed.
does that mean that you can't get hers ever?
No, it's not ever. I think as far as I'm aware, it'll last about 3 months, 6 weeks.
Oh,
Maybe
right,
someone
okay.
in the comments can correct us, but yeah, it's not even that painful. It's just like a little flicking. It's quite expensive as far as I'm aware, but then you don't have to shave for 3 months. You're good to go. I'm not sure if you get
I probably
sunburn
only I
as
probably only
well.
do it like every I probably only shave like every 2 to 3 months anyways. Like on my
Yeah,
legs,
okay.
not my face.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, we've definitely
That's
got a
2 weeks in a row
boyish.
we've talked about shaving, mate.
I know. How have we got back to male grooming so quickly? We just gravitate towards it.
Ah,
Deary
yeah.
me. Um,
Good place to finish up today.
yeah, I was gonna say, Jesus, we've let this rabbit hole dig ever deeper. But all right, let's
Anyone
wrap
has
up
any
there, man.
shaving tips, send them through.
Yeah, we
Drop us a
also
DM on Instagram.
before we forget, we also definitely need to put together a flow state playlist. We'll do this.
We do.
We
Make it
actually really
public so
do.
people can add to it.
Yeah, I'll make this over the weekend and then we'll start. Now, I feel like it just needs to be mine and yours. And then we can
Okay.
maybe do a second one where it's like the people's playlist.
Okay. Okay,
And
fair
we
enough.
can sound good.
Yeah.
All right, we'll put
It's
this
gonna be
together, but
eclectic anyway.
it's gonna be mad. It's gonna be sick. But all right, tell me what's going on for the weekend then before we wrap up. Plans?
Oh, let me think. Yep. Well, it is, as I said, it's my birthday, so we're actually going down for some Mexican food tonight in our
Yes.
favorite spot, Boojum. So it's just fast Mexican food that
Love
we
it.
are addicted to. So we're going to go down there after Kira gets finished up with work this evening, and then having family around for just a cup of tea and a bit of cake, all being well. And
Love it.
then over the weekend, not a massive pile, mate. It's going to revolve around food because I love to eat and Kira loves to cook. So that's going to be the weekends. And yeah, she wants to rustle something up. It's good for the birthday weekend. So I look forward to that. Probably tomorrow night, I think. So that'll be good. But nothing else really.
Fantastic.
Just chilling, mate, and running. What about you?
Yeah, nice. Um, Literally nothing planned, man. Everything was geared up towards heading down to Albert Park on Sunday for the race. But to be honest, I think we've probably picked a good weekend not to race because the weather here is going to be dreadful. It's been like kind of sub 10 degrees, raining, and it's going to be that way all weekend. So, It's going to be a very quiet one, very chill. We've actually got a long weekend. It's public holiday weekend, so hopefully we get some sun at some point, and then we can go out for some walks, get some nature. Probably still will, but it's just a little bit more enjoyable. But otherwise, nothing, man. Just enjoying some downtime.
Getting on your bike.
Getting on the bike Sunday. I'll try. I'll try and get 2 hours in if I can. Um, it's like the equivalent of a long ride. I don't have an actual bike. Otherwise, I would go out for a long ride. But if I can get some 2 hours in, maybe an hour of quality work or some hills, and then just some other time setting up the laptop, put some YouTube on, enjoy some content. That'd be grand. And then also eating. I mean, my life revolves around eating anyway. So more of that. Just because I'm that guy that when I don't train, I won't eat as much. I'll be a little bit more careful, and it's probably not the wisest thing to do. 'Cause I should probably take this opportunity to actually bank up some food and try and gain a little bit of weight just to recover. But it's not how it works for me. So just eat basically, eat and relax and spend some family time, man. So
Good stuff.
yeah,
Good stuff.
all right.
Yeah, well, good speaking to you as always, mate.
Andrew, and guys, again, just want to say, if you've made it this far through what is a plethora of nonsense and just about everything you could wish for in a running podcast, thank you so much. As always, if you could spare a moment to like the podcast on whatever platform you listen to it on, or share it with your mates, share it on Instagram. That'd mean the world to us. If not, even just give us some feedback. Like, we love to hear it. So if you've got something nice to say or not nice, like negative feedback is still feedback, let us know, because we want to make this enjoyable for you. But yeah, I think we'll leave it there. Thanks so much again for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time. Take care.